Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's Kristie J from the Chisholm Report. You're tuned in to Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
This is Hot 702.5.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream, wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid. You and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, yeah. Your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks, I had reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, with all hold hands every week on the beach, party by the sand. Word up, take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to chill.
If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, I feel the rain coming, let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go.
Refugees, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for stopping in. This is the Chisholm Report, and I am Kristie J. I am here to be able to help you understand what's going on with government and politics and how it applies to our lives. Thank you every Saturday at 10 a.m. for coming in and being able to speak with me. I do like an interactive show, so please call at 702-551-5261. I am educated at Southern University and also brought up and raised here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Very passionate about my people, and I want to be able to make sure that we're using our resources, which I am your resource of politics, government, black issues. Okay, so I first want to just start off like this. Okay, so last year, okay, well, not even last year, in the last 2 months that we've been here, we've had 76 mass shootings. 76. Okay, I want to give you a breakdown of what's happening. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so these are the numbers, and I just want you to keep this in mind while we go through this show. Okay, so all cases of gun violent deaths, all cases 5,659, and it's February the 18th. Of homicides and murders, 2,425. Suicides, 3,234. Mass shootings, once again, I said 76 because there was 3 last in this morning. Yep. Okay. Number of children killed with guns, 30. Injured, 68. Numbers of teens killed with guns, 205. Injured, 457. Officers involved incidents killed, 7. Officers killed or injured, 54. Officers involved killed, 179. Okay. Suspects killed, 109. Unintentional shootings, 194. Murders and suicide incidents, 99. Okay. It's February the 18th. It's ridiculous. Okay. Just to also name, okay, protection is the highest one on here for murders and injury. So I understand the importance of a gun, but even the people who are trained on an everyday basis with guns make mistakes, and that was also noted here. As we move through this show today, I need you to pay attention to that because that's on the ballot, okay? That's on the ballot. Gun control is on the ballot. Is it something that we need? Is it important to you? Just to kind of give you an understanding of what's going on here in the Valley. I first want to start off that yesterday there was a shutdown at the Palo Verde High School because a child brought a gun to school. Okay. My third grader just told me that the fifth graders got caught vaping at his elementary school. What the hell? Okay, like these things are crazy, and our kids are starting to endure more and more of these crazy acts because it's something that they see every day. So it's not that deep. It's not that hard. It's not that for them to imagine. It's not that hard. And this bothered me all through the night. Okay, because there was just a shooting yesterday, a mass shooting yesterday where 6 people were killed. And in the 6 people, the person went to these people's homes and shot people that were walking on the street. So where are we safe at? Where do you feel safe at? Okay. In the comments, I want you to also, this is a question of the day. What do you think support is? Because when I ask you guys to be able to share, like, and comment, a lot of y'all don't do that. Okay. I want, if you can send me an emoji in the comments. Okay. Hit a like before you come into the video, and then share it. Especially if you don't like it, share it and talk shit. I'll respond. So I want to go ahead and go into our first clip. This clip actually talks about here in Las Vegas. There was a protest yesterday in regards to the police incident where with a Durango high school student.
A protest happening right now. A group is demanding changes after a recent video showed a CCSD police officer having a rough altercation with a student. Joshua Peguero has been there throughout the afternoon and has an update for us. Joshua?
More people continue showing up to this protest. Right now, I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a look at the crowd. Again, it's continuing to increase minute by minute. You have people here from different races, ethnicities, ages as well, from young children to much more older adults. Again, they're calling for the firing of that police officer. This is at the Clark County School District Administrative Building. And as you can see, they're having it on the sidewalk because they were barred from holding this protest and rally in front of the administrative building. But again, they're again upset that the fact that this teenager black youth was taken down by the police officer and the police officer was reassigned and not fired. We're going to continue being at this protest and continue to monitor it, and we will bring you some more at 6:30. Reporting live, Joshua Peguero, 8 News Now.
All right, so this officer was just reassigned, and this is the same thing that happened with like George Floyd, the officer, the main officer that was in that, just reassigned. Same thing with all these Catholic priests. They rape a kid and then they're reassigned, right? So when are we going to stop doing that? And when is the protest? Okay, I understand that you guys wanted to protest and be able to let your words be heard, but they're not listening to you. Why? Because you're broke. They're not listening to you because you're not putting your money where your mouth is. How you do that is when the police call your phone asking for those donations, you tell them hell no, okay? Because it is not right for us to keep having to have these issues and then they're still being paid off of our tax dollars to be able to abuse our children. Okay? There is no reason for you to be so aggressive with a child. I understand that it was a situation, but we keep seeing this over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we are supporters. Now look, I'm not going to say that that I do not support the police department. I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is because I want to be safe, and I am not a person that carries a gun, okay? And I'll tell you like this: if we get into it, okay, and you do something to me, you either go catch these hands or catch these cases. That's the only other way this is gonna go, okay? So for the police to be that mediator, good police departments, good policies, then we don't have these certain occurrences keep happening over and over again. Once again, please keep in mind that I told you about all these incidents with killings and incidents with injury with gun violence. All right. Going to the next subject, I just want to be able to point this out for the Las Vegas natives that the Las Vegas City Council has okayed the site for planning for the new Westside Historical Library for 2025. Look into it. Okay. I just wanted to be able to give you guys that information because, of course, and they're going to be removing that off of, I don't know. Somebody else call in and let me know what they're doing with the plans of this library. So are they going to close down the library that they have on Doolittle, which is in the middle of all of the additional high schools, elementary schools, junior high schools, for them to be able to attend and use? Let's see. All right, so I have another clip, and this is in regards to local Las Vegas. The Super Bowl, I know you guys all know that the Super Bowl is going to be here next year, and they're bringing business to the city. I just want you to look in this clip and tell me what black businesses are getting these contracts.
Chris, even from a state away, millions of Nevadans shelling out millions of dollars to watch Sunday's Super Bowl. But when it's in town next year, business is expecting an even bigger touchdown in profit. Ryan Matthews shows us the potential impact.
The big game anticipated to bring tens of thousands of spectators to the stadium, hundreds of thousands more to the Valley, and to our local businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm assuming this was very busy over the weekend.
Absolutely.
The smallest of Valley food trucks to the biggest of strip restaurants get their supplies from Standard Restaurant Supply.
We can get it for you, from the smallest toothpicks to the biggest equipment. We've got it all.
Mike Spellman and Catherine Justice say for them, Super Bowl 57 was a profit touchdown.
We're right here. So those last minute things that anybody needs too as we get closer to the Super Bowl is exciting because we can help.
Las Vegas, you are now on the clock.
Profit possibilities when the game touches down year time. This year, the Retail Association of Nevada predicting nearly 2 million Nevadans tuned in, a collective spending of $160 million on the food, TVs, furniture, and team merchandise. The National Retail Federation revealing average spending per person for the day nearly reached pre-pandemic levels this year.
6 months ago, we were already talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
So now, Las Vegas businesses are ramping up preparations.
They're already working with some of their customers, and we're already working with our corporate office just to kind of make sure that we're sitting in a good spot come like fourth quarter next year.
For a pricey spectacle that could bring historic profits.
We're hoping to see double the profit for us, which at the very least profit our local businesses, our local restaurants.
All right. So allegedly, okay, the minorities were one of the first people to be able to get signed up for contracts for the Super Bowl for next year. And I also heard that they were giving shout outs to Ken Evans and also Lawrence Weekly. So I just want to be able to point that out. If you are a black business or a business at all, and go ahead and get your licensing and everything else together. Get a plan together because there's going to be plenty of money here in the city come next year for the Super Bowl. All right. I also just want to touch on the fact that I believe this is in Colorado, but they are now moving AP African American study courses for people to be able to use for graduation. This is what I want to say. Okay, before I go into this clip, it's important for us to know our history. It's important for us to know that we are Americans, that we are the first Americans, and that all of us did not come from Africa. We came from all over this world because the world looks like us. In any country you pick, I can tell you that their indigenous people look like me. Okay, so it's important for our kids to hear our history, but I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate with this and say, parents, it is your responsibility to tell them your history, because when do we allow the loser to be able to tell the winner's story? Okay. And that's the biggest issue I have, is that they're able to, with them having control over what we're teaching them. Okay. That's where we're losing. All right. Because they're not teaching them they want to teach them slave history. They don't want to teach them, they don't want to get into the real depths of it. And the problem is Black history, African American history, whatever you want to call it, is American history. Okay. Why are we trying to separate that? Because they don't separate. They just did a whole memorial for the Japanese Americans who were basically put in concentration camps all over this country, mostly in California. And they were able to make a book of them. There is no book for us because they weren't even tracking us. We were cows, horses, sheep, goats. That's basically what we were to them. And they were able to get reparations for their time in the concentration camps, as they should. Let's go there. As they should. They shouldn't have been there. Okay? And the reason why they were there was because they looked like the enemy. So I just before we go into this clip, I wanted to be able to tell you guys how this is important, because, of course, the state of Florida and other states like Kentucky are pushing out the fact that they don't want race studies taught, okay, when we have to learn all of theirs. We have to learn about Every week every month there's a culture, something that they're supposed to be teaching, but it's only aggressive and angry when it comes to Black Americans. We don't want our kids learning that. So let's go ahead and go into this clip.
A heavily debated AP course will soon be taught to several hundred students in Madison.
McKenna Alexander joins us now to share why district leaders feel the new AP African American Studies course aligns with the mission of the Madison School District. McKenna?
Yeah, right now high school students are in the process of finalizing next year's course load. And for some in the Madison Metropolitan School District, that includes an AP class on African American Studies. Come next fall, some MMSD students in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade will have the option to get college credit through the AP African American Studies course. The class, which can fill either a social studies or English credit, has been highly debated across the U.S., but is one that MMSD officials feel is important to include in high school curriculum.
I think that if you look at many curriculum from the past, it is definitely from more of a viewpoint. It's definitely more white-centered, and some of our curriculum has really been whitewashed, and we want to be really intentional about ensuring that we're giving students accurate information to make well-informed decisions, to make sure that they understand multiple perspectives, and that they understand representation of races and ethnicities that may not be their own.
Green stresses that any AP course is valuable and that it can provide college credit free of charge given a student scores a 3 or higher on the corresponding AP exam. But when it comes to the AP African American Studies course, Green says it's a class that can benefit any student, college credit or not.
The course is for any student of any race and any background, any ethnicity. I think understanding the real history and the truth about our history is critically important for all of our students, so I would say it's beneficial for all.
Right now, there are only 60 schools across the U.S. that offer this course, but come next year, there will be several hundred teaching the curriculum, including schools within MMSD, something Green says is a privilege.
And adding this course is just one more example of how we are trying to ensure that the curriculum that we have is culturally relevant, is diverse and representative of students and the histories.
All right, so step in the right direction. I want to know who you got teaching it. Okay, shout out to Dr. Umar who got his school. Okay, I won't lie to you. For a long time, it didn't seem like it was happening. I was doubting you, bro. I love when you are actually giving knowledge. I love when you're speaking kindly, which is rare. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you got your school. I think it'll be an amazing situation. I hope that you get a bunch of Black parents who follow and support you. I salute you. But I like I said, it's important for us to be able to make sure that our kids know our history. So even when they're teaching us stuff, not even just like math, English, all the rest of that stuff, parents, when your kid leaves that school, that is not the end of their education. Okay. I am not a good teacher. Okay. Like I say all the time, during the pandemic, Christian had a ain't shit ass teacher. It was me. Okay. I didn't know how to be able to teach a kindergartner how to be able to understand that the 2 + 2s and everything else, because I just didn't understand how he didn't know that. Okay. And I just wasn't good at it. Okay. But he has great and wonderful teachers at his school who are patient with him and being able, they know what it is to be able to teach a child. I can teach adults, okay, because I can cuss at you and we could talk straight up. But when I'm talking to my kid and I'm trying to get him to understand that is not in pre-K, that orange is not purple, okay, and he is just not understanding me where I'm coming from with it. I don't know what to do, okay? So I'm just going to more or less color it for him, okay? And that's not right. So when your kid leaves there needs to be some video games or something for Black History or something where they can be able to go and be playing Nat Turner in the virtual reality. They should be able to be Sojourner Truth. They should be able to be Shirley Chisholm. They should be able to be Kristie Jackson, okay? So I think that this is a market where I believe that our kids that we need, okay? And then with them learning more about structure in themselves, inner selves, their culture, their all that pride, that confidence, that all that additional is going to come. So I'm just very, I'm very happy about that, because in certain parts of the country, you have people fighting back and not wanting us to be able to talk about our history and what happened here. And this is half of the reason why we didn't know our history. Okay, is because it wasn't taught to us, and it wasn't taught to our grandparents. This is them being able to tell stories of what they know. Okay, and once again, the Confederate, and call in Confederate, okay, 702-551-5261. The Confederate lost, and you were traitors, okay? Treasonous. You went against the country. You are not patriotic. You are the enemy, okay? And you can say what you want to. Candace Owens, call in 702-551-5261. I know you want to wear the Confederate flag. I actually like you, Candace. You're actually pretty smart, and some of the stuff you say is smart, and some of the stuff I can tell is bought. I just want to know let me know when you really want to be that person. I'm here. I want to go ahead and get into this, though. The black officers in the Tyre Nichols case pleaded not guilty. Okay. In that clip, I just want us to once again remember what's going on with gun violence and police shootings and incidents all over this country, and how it is now made us numb to everything that happens. This was a beating. This is not a second and the person dies. This is just like George Floyd, when he was set there for 8-9 minutes while somebody sat there and tortured him to death. This was a beating to death. Let's go ahead.
5 former Memphis police officers who are charged now with murdering 29-year-old Tyre Nichols pled not guilty today. This comes 3 weeks after the release of that body cam footage of his violent arrest. Here's Elise Preston.
One by one and wearing masks, the 5 former Memphis police officers all pleaded not guilty through their attorneys to second-degree murder and other charges in the brutal beating death of Tyre Nichols.
They didn't even have the courage to look at me in my face.
Nichols' mother, Rovon Wells, was inside the courtroom.
I feel very numb right now. I'm really waiting for somebody to wake me up, but I also know that's not going to happen.
Nichols died January 10th, 3 days after he was repeatedly kicked and punched by the officers who were part of the now disbanded Scorpion Street Crime Unit. Defense attorneys believe still unreleased video will show why their clients pleaded not guilty.
We have a very long road of investigation and litigation ahead of us, and I implore the public to be patient.
Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy says there are an additional 20 hours of video that show other angles of what happened.
This is an important case, and if we are going to hold police officers who violate the law accountable, then we need to make sure that we get the prosecution correct, we get it right.
Nichols' death sparked protests nationwide and renewed calls for stricter police reforms.
So I don't think that we can just unilaterally say we're going to do away with all types of specialized units. But when we're talking about promotions, when we're talking about consequences for turning off the body cams, those are some of the type of solutions that we're going to have to come up with to address this moving forward.
The 5 fired officers are due back in court in May. Meanwhile, dozens of community leaders are calling for the Department of Justice to launch a federal pattern or practice investigation into the Memphis Police Department to see if there is routine use of excessive force. Elise Preston, CBS News, Memphis, Tennessee.
A lot of people don't.
All right, so I just want to add that the white officer name is Hempfield, and I just want to read this. MPD releases former officer Hempfield's, the white officer, okay, personnel file, okay. He was the one that tased Nichols while he was running away. In 2001, his supervisor noted that Hempfield's judgment needed improvement. He mishandled He mishandled a certain custody dispute. He also damaged a ticket printer and also wrecked a squad car. He is not being charged with the other 5 officers. I think he was just as involved. Somebody turned their back to you. They're not a threat to you. Why are you tasing them? For one thing, if you already have his information, you already have... This is what I don't understand. When you pull them over, it pops up and tells you what car, what name. Okay, if the car is not looking like it's stolen, most likely that person probably knows who's in that car. Okay, once somebody gives you their ID and they try to run off, you know their name, their address is on that ID, everything. Okay, so you can catch up with them later. You don't have to kill them. It's unnecessary. And I believe that all 6 officers to be charged with the same crimes. I don't know why he's getting off of it, especially if he tased. Now, that bothered me with that because why? Why are they keeping him quiet and they're only pushing these 5 officers? The 5 officers, they deserve to get whatever comes to them also. But why is the white officer being charged with them? Why his face not being plastered all over the place? He should be right there with them. Okay? And I don't understand that. Just talking, going forward with the show, I also had a clip about some black ranchers who have been reporting racist incidents, and it's going ignored. I want us to take a look at this because where are you getting your meat and dairy and everything else from at this point? Okay? Seek out these people who are actually putting their lives on the line to be able to get food on your table. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
New tonight at 6, 2 black ranchers in rural El Paso County say their cries for help and allegations of racism have been largely ignored by the sheriff's office.
And you've likely heard some of the Mallory story, which has been shared thousands of times on social media now. Those viral posts have led to national scrutiny over how the El Paso County Sheriff's Office has handled more than 2 years of disputes between the couple and their neighbors. Now they're speaking exclusively to Denver 7 on camera together for the first time.
And Denver 7's Micah Smith has tonight's exclusive that now has El Paso County deputies defending their actions.
Farming while black in America. Farming while black in America.
The voice you hear is Nicole Mallory's, and the person being arrested is her husband, Courtney C.W. Mallory. The Mallorys are black ranchers in rural El Paso County and say this moment is the culmination of years of blatant racism by community members and the El Paso County Sheriff's Office's failure to respond.
A lot of their pets have been poisoned and killed. Some of their livestock has been poisoned and killed.
Dr. Vern L. Howard is teaming up with Portia Prescott and Rashad Younger from the NAACP to help the Mallorys.
Basically, the Mallorys have been harassed on their property and on their land.
At that point, it became very clear that they weren't necessarily safe.
Animals poisoned and killed, a couple feeling harassed and terrorized. Huge claims that we'll break down. But first, how do we go from the Mallorys being seen as victims to the ones in handcuffs? The El Paso County Sheriff's Office investigated and decided it was the Mallorys who were felony stalking their neighbor. We got our hands on the arrest affidavit. It focuses on multiple complaints from the Mallorys' next-door neighbor. It's clear there's years of animosity on both sides of this easement road, and it's this road that has been center stage for many of their interactions.
All right, so I just want to give some light to that because we have black businesses out there that are trying their best to be able to maintain, and not only are they dealing with the contracts and stuff not coming to them, them not being able to get supplies, feed, or whatever, sell items for the price that everybody else is getting. They're now being targeted racially and abused in their area, and that to me is why we should be seeking out these black businesses so we can be able to support them and stop giving our money to these people who are actually there to disrespect and hurt our people who are in the same industries. So just maybe 1 or 2 times this week, why don't you try to hit a black business or find a black business that is not normally something that you normally do, or a business that you haven't helped before, and give them a chance. Let's start giving them a chance. It's time for us to start empowering ourselves, because we have to understand that reparations is not going to come. They're not going to give it to us. And the reason why they're not going to give it to us, because they can't tie it to our race, because black is not a nation. So until we can be able to fix the fact of them taking away our name, we are still lost, and we are not going to get that additional. So let's pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. Okay, as hard as they're going to make it for us, which they are. Every time we do something, they make it hard for us. Okay, so let's start seeking out these businesses. I'll make sure that I drop the link of this family and their farm, just in case we can be able to find out where they send their products to, and let's start buying them. All right. I want to go ahead and jump into my next clip. My next clip actually talks about the additional Syria. Okay, Syria just had an attack, and we killed one of the ISIS leaders, and then but 4 of our soldiers were injured in that. With that being said, didn't Syria just have an earthquake? Why are we over there Biden? They don't get no couple of days or something just to be able to get themselves together. They're still pulling bodies out of the rubble. Why are we attacking them? I mean, I guess you're supposed to kick them when they down. Huh, Biden? Call in 702-551-5261. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
We are getting news tonight that 4 U.S. troops and a service dog were wounded in Syria, all part of an operation that resulted in the death of a senior ISIS leader. Here's ABC's Stefan at the house.
Tonight, 4 American Special Operations Forces and their military dog wounded in Syria after their helicopter raid on a top ISIS leader ended in an explosion.
The troops and the working dog are in stable conditions, are being treated at a U.S. medical facility in Iraq.
The raid targeting ISIS senior leader Hamza al-Hamzi, who oversaw the group's deadly terrorist network in eastern Syria. But when the troops arrived, he detonated an explosive device, the blast killing him and wounding the Americans. The White House saying President Biden has been briefed.
When it comes to situations like this, of course, the president is closely involved.
A separate U.S. raid that same night resulted in the death of another ISIS leader. No civilians were injured in either operation.
Stephanie Ramos reporting for us at the White House. Thank you.
All right. So I just wanted to give some light on that. It's very strange to me that that's where we are. And I understand, tactics, but in war, ain't there some type of code that you okay, hey, all right, we go cease fire for a couple of minutes while y'all go pick up your people and everything else. They are going through some shit right now. And I'm not sure if this is beneficial to the people of Syria who are already enduring so much heartache. Is this really what we should be doing? Joe, call in, okay? Now, this is strange as hell, okay? But Congress is actually facing questions in regards to regulating AI, artificial intelligence. Now, everybody been laughing and stuff about this McDonald's. These McDonald's now start having AI take your order, okay? This means that there won't be an actual person to be able to help you. So when you asking for the extra barbecue sauce, they're not going to see your need, okay? This bothers me because if you can get ready to regulate all this stuff, but you can't fix the water in Flint, we got a problem. Let's go ahead and go into this clip. Oh, Oh, no. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and wait on that one. Let's talk about the bomb train that hit Ohio. Okay, so do you know there's been seven throughout the country trains derailing and leaking toxic waste into the area. This is just the latest one, okay? And to me, it just seems like, are they trying to freaking poison us? All right, let's go ahead and go into that clip.
It's been 12 days since the fiery derailment of a train carrying hazardous chemicals through East Palestine, Ohio, and the plan burned to prevent a potentially catastrophic explosion. Residents worry about what's still in the air, soil, and water of their rural community.
It's safe.
Ohio officials confirming some 3,500 fish died in local waters in the days after the derailment, but insist extensive testing shows there's no threat to other wildlife or humans. They say there's only anecdotal evidence of residents getting sick and no confirmed connection to the hazardous chemicals aboard the train.
I definitely have a right to know what was on that train.
Still, for the first time, state officials suggested residents returning to the evacuation zone use bottled water, especially if they have a private well, while testing continues. The governor was asked if he would return home if he lived near the crash site.
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water. I would be alert and concerned, but probably be back in my house.
An answer leaving some residents with mixed emotions.
I feel about 80% safe.
Ben Ratner and his family live half a mile from the crash site. Their kids are back in school after being out for a week. It sounds like you're still worried.
I think more so worried for the long term.
Residents have filed multiple class action lawsuits seeking damages from the rail operator Norfolk Southern, including free health monitoring and screening. The company says it has already paid residents more than $1 million in assistance and that it's committed to cleaning up any contamination.
Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea, last year Netflix put out a movie about a train derailing in Ohio. Okay, and that these toxic spills were everywhere, and it was in the air, and it was making all these people sick and giving them cancer and making them into zombies. And they said that the first thing they noticed was the grocery stores were packed full of produce. Okay, so that's your vegetables. Okay, that there was your dairy products and your meat and everything else was stocked. You remember when them cows was dying of the heat stroke and then they did burn up the chicken? Check on your food, okay? Because those cows were outside. And they're saying that the people that were outside when this happened are already feeling the effects of what the chemicals are doing in the area. Meaning, like they just said, that 3,500 fish died close to this crash. Okay, it's just strange that Netflix did an exact movie about this last year, and now all of a sudden it is here. We keep seeing these things happen like that. Another thing is, you remember that movie that Will Smith did called AI? Okay, now let's go ahead and go into that, because that it triggered me because they asked one of the little robots what did they think about it. They asked the robot what did they think about it, and the robot said that AI could be a threat and also an opportunity. So let's go ahead and go into that.
Artificial intelligence is evil robots with red laser eyes a la the Terminator.
Maybe not. But recent and dramatic advancements in artificial intelligence mean it can now perform complicated tasks, once only possible with human intelligence. And with the explosion of next-generation chatbots like ChatGPT, the debate is on. Unlimited potential or potential danger.
The explosion of the availability of all knowledge to everybody on the planet is going to be a very good thing and a very dangerous thing.
Last month, a 34-year-old congressman quite literally let a chatbot make his case for more action on AI.
This is a critical step forward in an era where AI and its implications are taking center stage in public discourse.
Regulating emerging technology is an ongoing challenge for Congress. From Facebook to Twitter and TikTok, and now AI.
We are lagging behind.
And who, or rather, what better to ask than ChatGPT to tell us why?
The way you asked the question, I think, is very interesting because you posed the question to ChatGPT, explain why Congress is behind in regulating AI. So you told the algorithm to assume that Congress was behind and to come up with some possible reasons.
That's scary, okay? Because them replacing humans in places where we need care and things like that, is that machine going to be able to give care or have empathy or sympathy for these people? You guys, thank you again for stopping in with me and chilling with me on the Chisholm Report. I love you guys. If you're out there and you see somebody grinding, let them know you see them shining. I appreciate you guys. You know I love you. And I'll see you next Saturday at 10 a.m. on the Chisholm Report with Kristie J.
On Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending